Right. Good morning to everyone. Welcome back. Um, Let me get these links out and then we can get straight into it. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, yeah, so welcome. I hope everyone had a lovely weekend. As you can see, we're getting a little bit of price action this morning. The one that absolutely flew is crude and Brent. Oil prices have absolutely skyrocketed. Again, I did send in that article last night. So, I mean, it was expected. OPEC Plus cutting production further. Yeah, pushing the prices to the moon. I mean, the move is kind of made. I mean, we probably are going to continue to push up, right? This is probably the bottom for now, and you're probably going to see prices push right back up, or at least push to the top of this range, and then maybe compress, maybe range for a little bit, and then make its next move. So, yeah, at least we got a decent move, kind of kind of restructuring price, which is nice because I mean this was struggling, we weren't getting a whole load, but yeah, this does look like a bottom is setting in, so may as well get rid of all of this. There's no use for it. But yeah, let's see. There's still a little bit more room to come up to that 200 daily moving average. More than likely to come test, but I mean that was a huge move. Um, yeah, we'll let it pull back. Hold on to some previous structure, and then we can go again. Right, Bitcoin. Now I sent out an update yesterday. Unfortunately, I did forget. I've really only talked about the non-farm payrolls, but we do. I mean, it's Labour Week this week, so you do get your jolts, you do get your initial jobless claims. Um, I just need to check on what days we're expecting this to come in. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, jolts on Tuesday, and then we get your ISMs on Wednesday, your jobless claims on Thursday, and then non-farm payrolls on Friday, Good Friday. So yeah, we got some data to get through to this week. Next bit of data in 12 minutes is a Swiss CPI. And then we kind of get a little bit of everything today, really. Um, mhm, mhm. We get Europe's manufacturing PMI at time zones wrong. 9 o'clock. Got OPEC meeting at 11. And we also do get some manufacturing ISM figures from the US. So, yeah, I mean, we get a little bit of data coming through. So we'll see how things kind of play out here. We got a little bit of movement. Dollar index went and filled up the gap that was left behind above. But yeah, in doing so, it also left the gap underneath, just here. So we'll see how things kind of play out. I mean, this is probably your next area for support, really. We can get rid of this as we have broken. So yeah, I mean, brand new month, brand new week. Things are kind of restructuring, kind of changing a little bit, which is nice. We got some fresh structure to play around with, so we'll see how things kind of go from here. By the way, guys, those that are just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. Feel free to message us in the chat. More than happy to answer your questions. But yeah, so gap has been finally filled up. We are kind of struggling a little bit at the moment. A little bit of space left until we kind of hit that 100 moving average. We have come to this order block here. And tapping for liquidity. So we'll see how things kind of play out. It could be the case that we start making a little bit of a pullback here, or a small one, push back up, and then make a large one. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we've got Swiss CPIs shortly. So Bitcoin made a break off trend line. So I can get rid of this now. Let's get rid of this as well. So we're at a level of support. Now, it doesn't look like we're holding too well. So your next areas around here. That's if we don't hold. Okay. Now we are coming from the top of the kind of wider range that we're kind of setting up to. That lower support zone lines up very, very nicely with that 100. So it's got a good chance to rebound from that level. So just bear that in mind. I mean, we've come down. We've tested twice here. So we're seeing a little bit of a reaction, but we're not getting that buy side push that we really need. So I presume we're going to make a push down here and then make a push back up. That's how things are likely to set up. Some nice structure from here as well. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. The dollar's going to have to play ball with us as well. Yeah, we're just simply moving within the range. You got your top, you got your bottom, you got your top, you got your bottom. So we'll see how things kind of play out. We either could maybe come down that low. If not, we hold and we actually make a push up here. So, I mean, we'll bear that in mind. We'll take a look at Bitcoin dominance because it's going to be an important factor in playing to the altcoins price action. And just get rid of all of this and then we can go. Yeah, so we're actually coming off the highs now. So I mean, once Bitcoin finds its bottom, some of these altcoins are really going to rebound, just because the altcoins have been bleeding quite heavily. So yeah, I mean, if we manage to kind of break through here. Yeah, if we manage to break through, come further down, actually really pull away from this top of this range and kind of confirm, okay, this is a top, we're going back down towards the range, the bottom of the range, sorry. Soon as this finds its bottom, altcoins are going to really pop much heavier to the upside. So I mean, we'll go through some altcoins and see what we can kind of pick out. We are currently in on a couple of long positions. The algo position as a medium term play that was sent last week is still currently open. We have added margin. So those that got involved, yeah, we have added margin again at this level. But again, it's a medium-term play. We're not expecting it to fly. Well, to be in profit in a short space of time. Okay. Yeah, that's your structure. Now, let me just take a look at. Um, okay. I mean, it's understandable, really, that you're seeing a little bit of red. I mean, especially in the equities markets, they have been absolutely tearing it. Um, yeah. Hey, bro, would you be giving calls? Yeah, I mean, we take trades on here, so um, tune in, tune in. Doge, I'll take a look at Doge. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's understandable that we're seeing a little bit of a pullback on the equities markets. They've been on an absolute move higher, so it's actually relatively healthy to see a little bit of a pullback. I don't imagine it's going to be majorly sustained until some of this data starts to come out. Um, so yeah, I mean, he made a very nice push, so could be looking, somewhere around this area here. Holding, maybe making that next move. We're running on relatively low volume, especially that sell side volume is very weak. So, um, yeah, and there needs to be a nice reaction from somewhere at the top here. There's a lot more liquidity being held there, so I wouldn't be surprised if we push here and then start to potentially make a move back down. Um, so yeah, let's see. Um, bear with me. Somebody will look at gold. Can you show me how to find support and resistance? So use your high time frame. Okay, support and resistance is essentially anywhere that prices come to visit more than once. Okay, so something like this will be support, right? Or something like this will be resistance. So when price is down here, makes a push up, that's your resistance, that's your level that you're looking for either a rebound or a breakout. And then if price is coming down here, you're looking at this for, so when it kind of hits the bottom here, pushes back up, comes back down, that's your support. So you got another level to look at. What indicators are you using? So moving averages, my volume, and that's about it in terms of indicators, really. I don't use any sort of complicated stuff. I just use price action indicators, or smart money concepts to be exact. So again, support somewhere like this. Support 1, 2, 3 times tested. This will be you can also look at, so this could be resistance or local resistance. So you got to look at price action from short term perspective and then long term perspective. Okay, so you have your shorter term levels that essentially kind of start to give you the indication that there's a small incremental changes to then push towards those longer term and stronger levels of support and resistance to break out. So again, something like this. See how we kind of tested 3 times, 1, 2, 3. That's your resistance. Again, something. I mean, you can almost visually see it, right? Something like this. See how you got this level where it's tested support, support, support. So if you're support and resistance is very simple. I mean, it is a fundamental. You do need to understand it. Something that helps with, you kind of put them together. So you have like support and resistance, or supply and demand zone, something like a confluence zone. But if you're really, something that will change your game and is also fundamental, is order blocks. Order block concept is vital, because it allows you to follow the liquidity in the market. Um, so yeah. Do you do one-on-one mentors? You will have to send me a message privately. I can't give you that information on live, unfortunately, because I'm doing a public live stream, and TradingView has got strict guidelines in terms of promotion. Yeah, but yeah, if you drop me a message, I can give you that info, man. I think I think it sometimes. That's just because you need direction, and I presume you're trying to learn things by yourself, so you're not you're not really taking things uh, in terms of, okay, this is the correct way. Um, yeah, you just need direction and guidance. That's it. You just need to be confident. But something like a resistance or support level can also be a psychological level. So again, something like an all-time high or an all-time low. Um, that can be considered as a level of resistance or support before breakout. So if you learn support and resistance, order blocks, and break off structure. Break structure uses the same concept of support and resistance, but understanding essentially, okay, how do I map out my market structure for to understand, okay, is price breaking out, is price strengthening or weakening? So yeah, those are very fundamental parts to trading. Okay, so we have got Doge. Let me do Doge. XRP, I will touch on XRP, don't you worry. Doge. And by the way, thank you for the follows and thank you for the likes. Very much appreciated, guys. So I haven't looked at Doge in a while, to be fair. So let's have a little look. Do 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 do. Okay. I mean, we've hit rock bottom. Saw some very nice volume coming in on here. It looks like we could potentially load up for a decent move. You're kind of setting the bottom here, which is really really healthy. Picking up in volume, which again is healthy as well. See this ever so slight tick up. I mean, it's potentially the beginnings of momentum really picking up. So you just need that volume to also start to tick up with positive price action, right? So at this level here, essentially what you're kind of looking for is kind of your just positive. Yeah, I mean you're kind of getting hit really, where you kind of push up, come back down, test support. Okay, push up, come back down, test support, push up, come back down, test support, and then you push. Yeah, you go for that break. Essentially, this is your accumulation stage before you kind of break out. Some nice buy side volume on that attempt to break out. Came up all the way to this order block, tested for liquidity, came right back down. So I started to get a little bit active there. Um, Also, kind of moving the overall market. I mean, um, it's a little bit more positively structuring. So yeah, I mean, you got to give it a little bit of time, but it's looking pretty good. Um, that long-term trend line is healthy. It's a very nice buy side coming in on there. So yeah, keep that trend line. That's key that we hold that trend line. If it breaches through that trend line, I mean, you could be coming all the way back down to about this level here. Um, yeah, you could very much sell off there. So you just need to be slightly careful. It's already tapped liquidity there. It's a bit of a long shot, but your liquidity after that point really is all the way down here. It's a very, very kind of far away price. I mean, if the market decides to crash, then yeah, You could actually see this. So if Doge decides or hardly moves in price and Bitcoin starts to really kind of ramp down in price, then I mean you could actually see this. But the way that it's developing, you could actually see this kind of breakout higher, and then Bitcoin starts to make a move down. Um, yeah, so then price will be up here, so you probably just end up coming back down and revisiting. This could be your um, kind of all-time low for this bear market. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how things kind of play out. It's looking pretty good. Nice structure, nice volume coming in. It just needs to continue to hold and kind of just accumulate and pick up in momentum. But this is some nice volume. Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of time just to kind of restructure here, just because this was a decent correction, a healthy correction. Ideally, I mean, it kind of held that level of previous resistance on the 1 hour. Um, didn't quite hold. See how we kind of tested one, two, three times. This kind of natural level of previous resistance turns into new support, and then we kind of finally breach, tap that 200. This is healthy. You just need that buy side to really start to uptick, and then build up some structure to go again. XRP. Let's have a little look. Do 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 do. Okay, so looking pretty good. I like the look at XRP. That is for sure. I do like it. Um, mm, it's holding. And this is a nice healthy pullback. Kind of holding. It's holding on to that level of well, this high here. Tested here, broke out, came and retested as support. So yeah, it's looking pretty nice. If it does decide to really break through here, that is your next area of liquidity. It's about 0.48, but it's looking healthy in terms of holding this level here, showing signs that we're holding. Um, we just need Bitcoin to help out and also make a push up higher. Um, yeah, I mean at the moment we are holding here, but it needs to make a push up higher soon. Yeah, I mean it could also be the case that we get something almost a very kind of brief accumulation period. So we push up, we come back down, we push up, and things kind of do basically nothing. Um, this sort of structure where you kind of enter a small accumulation distribution range is actually quite good for altcoins, especially when Bitcoin dominance is coming off its highs. Um, you get larger moves in the altcoin market. So if something like that plays out, then yeah, we could get some nice moves. Now, yeah, I mean it's still looking weak, so it's likely that we're going to make a push to 27.4. I wouldn't be surprised if we do make that push, but then again, I mean it could also just kind of consolidate in range for a period of time. I mean the sellers aren't really here, but the buyers are also not really looking strong, so and could make that next dip and then see some buy side. You need that buy side volume to really start to perk up. To show us a sign that you've got nice buy side momentum to fulfill a bottom formation. Um, so yeah, just patience, mate. Uh, it's looking good. It is looking pretty healthy. Over the course of yesterday as well, whilst the majority of the market was really, really moving down heavily, XRP actually held structure relatively well. Um, so yeah, this is just a healthy correction. Higher time frame, it looks ridiculous on a higher time frame. It really does look like we're just going to absolutely smash through. So again, yeah, this is insane volume. The volume that's come in here is massive, especially with this last kind of structuring. You see how we're picking up, and that price action's also following through. It's a very, very nice structure. Um, so yeah, I mean, should start to kind of hold and make a push up again. Sellers here were weak, so we just need to give it a little bit of time just to continue cutting out those sellers and then picking up in buy side and then finally making another move. Essentially, we want to hold that. Uh, so yeah, hopefully that answered your question. Mm-mm-mm. You've entered long on XRP, yeah, go for it, man. Just be a little bit patient with it. It is the start of the month, so naturally there's going to be a little bit of kind of ranging, consolidating, building structure for the larger move. Also, I mean, we are getting some data, um, relatively important data this week. Um, the important data today is really those ISM manufacturing PMIs from the US at 3 o'clock. 2:45 we get manufacturing PMI, and then 3 o'clock we get ISM manufacturing PMI. Which, for those that don't know, what ISM manufacturing PMIs are essentially kind of just telling you whether the manufacturing sector is contracting or growing. Nice overview on Bitcoin things. How will oil affect SPX? Um, I mean, oil is on an absolute rampage. This whole production um, cut. I mean, it's sending prices higher, so it's a necessity for companies, and their run-ins. It's important on kind of uh, listening out and understanding the US's reaction to this supply cut, because if they somehow miraculously manage to fill that gap, then the US oil prices aren't going to be, well, they can kind of be sustained a little bit, but again, they're not going to be able to fill in that gap. So yeah, it's not going to impact the SPX very well. Again, it's a necessity. It's a cost to companies. So if that's becoming more expensive, they've got more costs going out, less profits. Looks bearish. Are you sure? Are we on about XRP, right? So you're looking at it from a very short term perspective, I guess. Bear with me. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So it's the structure. So yeah, you can say, okay, yeah, it looks bearish. We're coming off a high. We're making a push down, right? So you're thinking that, okay, we're doing something like that, right? You need to look at kind of the changes in volume. You see how sell side is still very weak on that move. You need sell side to pick up in volume to actually really break through these levels. This is a strong level of support, yeah. So you need that sell side to really push to make a to continue it back down, right? To really turn things back around. Because on the higher time frame, it looks very healthy on the higher time frame. Look at the amount of volume from the buyers came in. Right, we're on the verge of breaking through. Now, naturally, we're going to find some resistance. It's a strong level of resistance, right? So if I go back on the weekly, see how this is a very key level at the moment. So naturally, you're going to find some resistance here, but it's also understanding, okay, again, a point that I mentioned, the rest of the market yesterday, and we capitalized on some shorts, absolutely teared it down. Some of the majority of alts really pushed down, whereas XRP was moving kind of interdependently. Um, I'm not saying it didn't pull back, but look at the pullback. It was a very minor pullback. When you look at some of these alts, they really pulled back heavily. So, um, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, maybe we might break through here and come a little bit deeper into this area here. But this is where your liquidity is held. We could, again, as mentioned, we could push down to here. I'm looking at it from a bit more of a medium to long term perspective, just because of the high time frame structure. In terms of the larger move, because after this point here, you can be looking at. I mean, this could really go higher. Um, Past this point here, your first real target is 0.65. And if it really pushes, you can be looking at about 0.75. There's a lot of liquidity being held up here as well. So, yeah, I mean, short term, I agree with you. Yeah, things are looking like they are going to make a pullback. But I mean, we're also holding. Um, so there's a little bit more room for things to come down if they decide um, they need more liquidity to make that move. Okay, we got some liquidity just here. See how we tested here, and then we still got some more beneath. But essentially, um, with a medium term kind of mindset and outlook on it, this is going to rip. Summary judgment to be released this month, so speculation could make it bullish. Yeah, so yeah, I agree with you there. Markets are very optimistic. So they're going to look at anything with a very optimistic kind of lens. Okay, especially with CPI. So CPI comes out next week on the 12th on Wednesday. It's an extremely important CPI reading. I can't emphasize that anymore. It's extremely important. Why? Because there's such a disparity between um, markets expectations and what the Fed is actually expecting and wanting to do. So if that CPI figure does not come down by a good amount, it pushes the narrative that the Fed will increase interest rates by 0.25 again in May, whereas the market expectations is for the Fed to pause in May. So things are going to start to turn. You're already kind of seeing markets getting very easily spooked again because they're so optimistic. So anything that goes against that narrative, markets are going to absolutely tear to the downside. So yeah, I mean we'll see what CPI comes out to be next week. But first, obviously, we need to get through some of this labor market data. Am I expecting labor market data to weaken? I mean, at this point, you got to just wait for the data to come through. I don't think it's going to weaken significantly enough for markets to really take it positively. and really kind of rip things back up. Now it might come down a little bit. You might see some moves on the back end, but it's about the significant change. Um, because the labour market data has been so strong for so long, reading after reading after reading. Now, non-farm payrolls comes out on Friday. It's Good Friday, so I presume we might get some movement in crypto just because it's open 24/7. But essentially, I mean, markets reopen, I'm pretty sure, on Tuesday next week, and then CPI is on Wednesday, so there's going to be a huge influx of volume coming in. Yeah, I agreed. Inflation down the road. Yeah, yeah. CPI is next week is extremely important because the markets are also pricing in a Fed cut this year, and a cut in interest rates isn't even in the Fed's base case for this whole year. Um, so I mean, the way that things are kind of setting up for the bubble to be burst, this bear market rally or this bull run that everyone's been talking about is literally setting up for a disaster. So again, as we have mentioned in previous updates, stay cash intensive, and start buying up some gold, some silver, because those are going to be nice hedges for when that bubble does burst. But yeah, hopefully I answered everyone's questions. Do 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 do. All right, so CPI came out from Switzerland. We got a decline. I've even really checked any FX today. Only really looked at the commodities. I mean, hopefully we can capitalize. I mean, the FX side of things last month did very well. Uh, very well. Do. Let me get it up. Yeah, 76% success rate, 35 winning trades, 11 losing. We did okay last month. The crypto side of things absolutely smashed it though. Really did well. So bring on new quarter, new month, new opportunities, new trades. So let's see what we can do this month. Let's see. Thank you. We appreciate your analysis and insights. Yeah, you're welcome. Um, Again, as mentioned, if you guys want to be kept up to date, we no longer send market updates here on TradingView. But yeah, we do send them. So just bear that in mind. Let's continue taking a look. Yeah. Next date's alright. So we got manufacturing PMI from Europe coming out next. So see what we can get. Mm-hmm. But yeah, guys, feel free come tune in with us. 7 a.m. UK time for the London Open, Monday to Friday, and then also for the New York Open. So we'll come about 12 o'clock, 12:30 UK time for that New York Open. So feel free to come tune in to us. Again, we send out. It's a live trading session, so you're literally watching us trade the markets. But yeah, feel free to come in, ask any questions that you want, any TA, share any trades that you're in. Could take it together. It's all about just cashing in some profits as a team. But yeah, that XRP is looking real good. Now this is our medium term play. It came down to that 786. We had to widen the stop just because things are making that pullback, but the structure is very nice. We are starting to very much compress in price. So yeah, this is going to start to ramp up. So just bear that in mind. We are holding on to nice structure. We came down, testing for liquidity. Let me show you on the higher time frame how we are very much compressing. See this? It's ready to blow through things. So yeah, medium term play. So I'll be patient with it, but it's looking very nice as well. Arbitrarian. Bear with me, let me get it up for you. Do 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 do. Must be very new. Oh, let me see if I can get something that's got a little bit more price action on. Okay, yeah, there really isn't much to go off. Okay, I mean it's just in a huge range. Here's your bottom. Here's your top. And you are currently, I mean, trying to accumulate on this bottom here, ready to push back up. So hopefully it kind of just sticks here, ranges, and then breaks back up. It's essentially just in a huge range. Decent amount of sell side came in here, which I mean you do need to be slightly wary of. It's tailing off, which is good. So yeah, it's gonna consolidate. It's building on some decent structure. Volume really has tailed off. So yeah, you're going to get a similar scenario here. See, this is your accumulation phase. So where prices just kind of range on the bottom for a little bit, it's the same thing that you're going to get here, range for a little bit, and then make a push up. That's a nice reaction from buyers. Again, some nice follow through here. So yeah, you want this. So as you're kind of declining, you want it to start to move up, and then what you want is price to then move up as volume and momentum picks up as well. But if you want like next levels, I guess. So you're at your bottom here. Just bear in mind you could still come back down. This is kind of your bottom here. Again, there's more liquidity to be held beneath, so keep a close eye on there. But yeah, this is you've got structure just here, right? So you got previous support. So we could break out. This is your first level of resistance, right? Then your concentration liquidity is all held up here. So you see how you got a nice concentration of prices just here. Okay, so that'll be kind of your next level. And then after that, you just go with your order blocks, right? So this is your next area. And then after that, I mean, you got a little bit of concentration there, and then the top of the range. But again, the wider structure and the high time frame structure that you're moving within is just a big range. Um, so I mean, it's not too bad of an entry, but again, do be careful just because it's a very new crypto that um you could also break through and create structure down here. This is the problem with brand new cryptos. Just don't have enough price history to really play through. So yeah, at least you got the range and structure that you can trade within. But again, just be careful of the risk of it really breaking through the side, because this is obviously the initial offering, um, going public. So this is essentially where investors kind of bought at, sold their profit. So they're only realistically going to be willing to buy back up below this point here. So again, you've got a risk, well, a real risk of things pushing beneath this point here. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Um, yeah, I'd just be playing this very in terms of kind of speculation. For BTC, I guess that is a rooftop forming. For Bitcoin, kinda maybe. Um, it's it's just ranging. Okay, it's just holding off on price action. It's obviously we got holiday season coming up, and we also have CPI coming in next week. So naturally, there's going to be a little bit of structure. You have to also bear in mind it's a new financial year, it's a new quarter, it's a new month. So things naturally tail off and kind of build and set themselves up for the new fresh data to come out. Again, this is a very data driven market. Okay, you move from data point to data point. You ask yourself why, because the Fed is doing the exact same, and the Fed is the one that controls interest rates, it controls monetary policy in terms of bringing inflation, the inflation rate back down, which is the problem that we have currently, right, across the globe. Is inflation is absolutely out of control because of the quantitative easing from the pandemic. So that's the problem that needs to be solved, and the central bank is essentially the one that has the job of bringing that inflation back to target of 2%. So yeah, you listen to what the Fed has to say, and they're saying they're going from data point to data point. They're not shooting to conclusions. So yeah, fresh new month, new financial year. We got a fresh new CPI reading next week. Again, holiday season. There's a lot of factors as to why we're not getting huge moves. Okay, so this is kind of understandable. We're just in a very wide range at the moment, and it just builds structure. So yeah, we could come down. Okay, those that are just joining us, and brand new to the channel, we've got the wider range. Okay, so this is your tighter range here. Okay, and then we have your wider range in terms of, okay, a big move or breakout happens, right? On the bottom end, we have 25,200 and 24,600 as support. Now, obviously, as time kind of moves and advances, the kind of these longer term moving averages that hold strength in the market. This is why we have moving averages on our charts, right? They've become very useful in terms of giving you areas of support and resistance and potential breakthroughs, right? But you see how this 200 is tweeting around that level. Got a nice area of liquidity around here. Okay, so on the bottom end, if prices break through this range here or this bottom, then you're probably looking at it pushing down towards there before finding some stronger level of support. And on the top end, I mean, we've got our next level at 30k above, but it could push anywhere up to 32 roughly. But there's a lot more kind of strength in terms of resistance here than support. We are at the key pivotal area on Bitcoin. Okay, this is the most key area of price on Bitcoin, right? This is make or break sort of kind of pivot. So support. So obviously we broke through heavily. We came back, tested the support here roughly. Came down, found support again, tweeted around, and now we're back at that point. So anywhere around this area here, it's going to hold a lot of strength. You're going to need something really to spark markets to really turn sentiment 100%. It's risk on, and we're going and we're not holding back here. Okay, again, this is going to come from the data that changes the Fed's response. Essentially, that's where this happens. If the data comes out and it's not pushing towards that narrative, then things very much could push in a little bit deeper again, because markets are very optimistic. They're going to kind of be ahead of the game in terms of that and continue to push. And then, okay, right, the data doesn't support it. The Fed is going to increase interest rates. This is going to come down. Now, you all saw what price did and how markets reacted on the previous interest rate decision, and the markets were expecting an interest rate hike in that decision. They are now pricing in a Fed pause in May, okay, whereas the Fed has still got space to increase again, right? They're expecting terminal rates to peak at 5.25%. We're at 5% currently, so there's still space. And you see in EU CPI is reviving. The PCE prices that we just got were very, 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 very nice from the US, but elsewhere the CPI is becoming sticky. And again, this is a term that you're going to hear more and more so in the news is stagflation. You look at UK's CPI went up. Things aren't looking good. It's a bubble ready to be burst, that is for sure. By the way, guys, thank you very much for the likes and follows on the stream. Very much appreciated. Um, yeah. But you see how volume is so weak. This is partly because um, the market is waiting on data. Um, yeah, it just goes from data point to data point, especially when you start a new month. Okay, um, start a new month. I'm expecting data to come out. So what you will naturally get is a little bit of ranging from the very beginning of the month, and then as you get closer towards those data points, because the market is again optimistic, you start seeing it trickling up, and then you get the data point, and uh, the best thing, just don't even try and guess what the data is going to come out. Just wait for the data. Okay, it comes out, and then you can go from there. Just because this is very unpredictable. Um, but yeah. And also, not to mention, guys, this whole banking scenario is not looking healthy right now. And then also, kind of chucking this whole war that's escalating. You got the kind of the power shift between your BRIC countries that again are developing. Again, partly might be a reason in terms of this whole OPEC supply cut, right? Um, you saw it when Saudi went against what the US wanted in terms of, okay, give me some more supply. And I mean, Saudi literally just threw it right back at the US's face or Biden's face, and gave them an abysmal increase in supply. Um, yeah, it's the problem when obviously the US holds power, and the way they make businesses by strong handing people. And there's a shift, and that's the problem. I mean, the West don't produce anything really, in terms of kind of your basic uh, precious necessities. So, your oil, your gold, your precious metals, anything like that. What the West doesn't do anything. I mean, China controls production, manufacturing, and then you've got Russia, you've got Russia, China, you've got uh, the Middle East that, I mean, together control really oil production and demand. Da, 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 da.
Okay, and what does it mean then for global inflationary pressures?
All right, so we're seeing a little bit of a rebound again. I mean, just expect this. I mean, this is really starting to come down quite nicely. So yeah, some of these altcoins are going to start to pick up. See how well it holds. If we manage to kind of build up on a little bit of a bottom and push up and break out, should see some nice price action in those altcoins.
Christine, what's the geopolitical implication of all of this? The White House has said that this is an ill-advised cut to production from OPEC. Plus, is this a reigniting of tensions between Washington and Saudi Arabia?
Okay, that's going to be very interesting to watch. Christine, thank you so much for giving us that texture and detail. Our Daybreak editor based in Riyadh there on the shock OPEC cut to supply.
Up next, banking crisis cybercrime warning and locking down a deal for pro wrestling.
Now, a paper review on Bloomberg Daybreak Europe. The news you need to know from today's
Ba-da-ba-ba.
papers.
Bloomberg's Leanne Gerrans is here with more details. The Financial Times headline: the UK needs to learn its own lessons from the banking crisis. This from the leader writer at the FT, Leanne. What lessons?
Yes, this is an opinion piece from Martin Wolf from the FT, as you said, and it's on financial regulation. And Caroline, he outlines 8 obvious lessons the UK needs to learn from this mini crisis. So Wolf says this is the first obvious lesson he points out. The events of recent weeks have reminded us that the UK is an open financial entrepot and is vulnerable to regulatory failures elsewhere in the world. Martin Wolf says the BOE Governor Andrew Bailey said it was helpful that the UK Army
So,
was a ring-fence subsidiary.
me and Shark, are you in on this stream, or if not,
But then Wolf goes on to talk about the pressure for deregulation.
nice. I mean,
But he's really arguing that the latest shock
very clear trend line we're holding to.
so much less appealing.
Very, very clear. Now, I mean,
He says smaller banks in the US in
we could ramp up.
they face deregulation, which they got.
Could very, very well ramp up. Very, very mad. Good structure. Crazy buy side here.
Powerful example of why we should step away
This looks
from bringing in tighter standards.
pretty good on a higher time frame perspective. I mean, obviously we've got the Litecoin halving this year. If I'm not mistaken, it's in July. Let me just double check. So you're naturally going to. No, sorry, bear with me. Start seeing it kind of accumulate. Sorry, it's in August. So, our countdown time predicts the next Litecoin halving date to occur on Wednesday, August the 2nd, 2023. Yeah, so you're naturally going to see it build up towards that. Because essentially, obviously, the Bitcoin halving, the Litecoin, the halving event, comes to light, right? We'll see some price action off the back end, but it will just revert back to the overall market sentiment direction, which I mean is more than likely to continue to be bearish around that time. So yeah, things are going to, I mean, you can see the structure here. It's already starting to build on some very, very, very nice structure. I can delete all of this. Clear trend line. Very nice reaction from buyers here. Okay, so it could be the case that maybe we just build up a little bit, ready for that breakout of this structure. This is the key pivotal point on Litecoin as well. And as you can see, I mean, we're very much compressing. So once we break through, you can be looking at anywhere around here, 140, 160 as a range. And I mean, you can definitely continue pushing up higher, but that's really where that next area of resistance is on the higher time frame. And yeah, everything kind of put together is looking to push up higher.
When it said WWE's executive chairman was looking to get $9 billion for the company. Now, we could hear about this deal as soon as today, and it's also a huge amount of money, isn't it? $9 billion. And we also must remember, I think the reason this is so
Why don't you read YouTube comments? Let me check.
Listen, we're missing the actual WrestleMania fan in the team, and that's our audio engineer, Naruto, who is very keen on that sport. Anyway, thanks so much, Leanne Gerrans.
Thanks, Leanne. Coming up next, we'll have the London Rush with Charles Cape and all the latest breaking corporate news from the UK. Stay with us. This is Bloomberg.
Bloomberg Radio on demand and in your podcast feed.
What's your name on YouTube? Let me know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, Litecoin's looking pretty sweet. Let's see how things kind of play out. Just give it a little bit more time. Just hold on to support, ready to make that push up higher. But we're looking good. You've got trend line. We're currently holding onto that support level. This is your resistance.
Whether you're an in-house counsel or in private practice, Bloomberg Law gives you the edge with the latest in AI-powered legal analytics, business insights, and workflow tools. With guidance from our experts, you'll grasp the latest trends in the legal industry, helping you achieve better results. For the practice of law, the business of law, the future of law, the difference is Bloomberg Law. Learn more at BloombergLaw.com.
Geopolitical risk, changing regulation, economic uncertainty. EY can help you identify the risks that matter. When it comes to the complexities you're facing, it isn't just about the numbers. To keep ahead of changing business needs and evolving regulations, CFOs, boards, and audit committees need critical insights to make better decisions. For more insights that matter, visit ey.com/beyond the numbers.
Time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose.
I can't see any YouTube comments from yourself on this stream. Now if you've mentioned something on a video, I've also, I mean, I can't see anything on there as well. So yeah, I mean, I do read, and I do kind of keep an eye on things. But yeah, anyway, so it was about the gold pump. Yeah, come on in. I can definitely take a look at it. It's not a problem. So, I mean, we got a breakdown lower, right? Nice compression, and we're still kind of holding. Let me just clear up some of this chart as we have broken through structure. So that's your structure currently compressing, right? We could actually get a bit of a correction here. I mean, we're kind of at this level. There's your liquidity just here. And you do have some previous structure all the way down here as well. So it could be the case, okay, yeah, we make a pullback. Markets stay relatively or continue staying optimistic and risk on. This comes down, breaks out, makes a correction somewhere around this region, and then continues and builds up on kind of the accumulation process to essentially kind of continue pushing up higher. We've got decline in volume as well, so this is kind of showing a bit of signs that we're kind of weakening at this top. So again, it would be relatively healthy to actually see a pullback here in price. Yeah, and that's really where your kind of next area of liquidity is being held, about 1950, 1900. a move is going to happen just because, I mean, we are very much compressing here. So let me get rid of some of this. Yeah. It's quite a nice amount of liquidity just yet that needs to be tapped into. So we could push down, tap, and then start to accumulate and building up structure to go again. Long-term perspective, things are looking bullish for gold. Investors are going to need some sort of safe haven. So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't actually be too bad. I mean, we could very much still continue in here. Okay, push up and then make a move closer. But yeah, a much larger move is brewing. And this is more than likely to probably hold out until next week. I wouldn't be surprised if this simply just continues compressing, okay, until CPI is being released. So yeah, it's probably best. I mean, if you're going to capitalize on very short moves, then I mean you still probably got a few more trades in here, but other than that, just hold off and wait. Just watch structure for a breakout to the upside or to the downside. But yeah, you got some nice sell side here. So we'll see how the buyers react now that we're at support. If the buyers still continue looking really, really weak, and then the sellers come in looking like they're strengthening, then I mean, yeah, you're probably going to get that breakout to the downside. So yeah, just hold off. That's your structure. But again, when we get labor market data coming out, but markets are really going to kind of hold off for that CPI, because the CPI is essentially the most important figure of the month. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, as to your question, I can't see any comments from you. But yeah, if that's the case, just message me privately if you got any questions. Yeah, we got a rebound. Let's get it. Yeah, it's a very slow morning. You're not getting crazy amounts. Again, markets are just restructuring. One crypto that I was looking at potentially getting in on a trade was Waves. It's looking pretty nice on the bottom. Nice reaction off the trend line so far. So we'll keep an eye on it. But looking pretty promising. Rebounded quite nicely. So we'll see. So keep a close eye. Again, I need a little bit kind of better structure on the bottom. I need to see that buy side volume really to come in, and that sell side to weaken, just because we got a decent amount of sell side here. So yeah, but it does look nice. If it can just come down, build up on structure, buy side starts to pick up heavier than sell side, then okay, I can get in for that larger move. But again, guys, I mean, the beginning and end, about kind of essentially really more so in the more at the beginning of the months, it's pretty quiet, okay, in terms of taking trades and everything, just because markets are essentially running on relatively low volume and also restructuring. So Yeah, it's the quietest week of the month, really. Um,
Yeah, no, and one that we're
but yeah,
familiar
just
with
got to
is
be patient with
one of
things.
the bright sparks of the sort of startup landscape. So I do think
It's
that's
looking pretty good though, so we'll keep a close eye on things for you.
Before they first revealed this irregularity, they
Yeah.
were saying that they were considering moving to the US for a listing.
Yes.
That was sort of bucking the trend there as well, or joining that trend.
Yeah, absolutely. It caused a lot of waves at that possibility. Okay, Peel Hunt, some news from them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's Peel Hunt as alongside Numis as well, and both of these are similar banks in London. They're both relatively small brokers, and they're heavily impacted by the UK market, particularly when it comes to the capital market. So Peel Hunt now say they expect to be marginally loss-making for the full year. It comes as they've had some higher costs, but it also, at the same time, their investment banking revenues have been impacted by macroeconomic uncertainty.
Let's have a little look at the dollar. Ooh,
Gradual improvement in their pipeline,
that's exactly what we would love to see.
mandates across all sectors. And then on the other hand, Numis feels that the slowdown in the ECM market means that it expects its revenue to be lower
Let's get
than
rid of
last
that.
year in the first half of the year. But both of those companies seemingly impacted by this more sour trading environment.
Okay, Charles, thanks very much for the London Rush. You'll find these stories and more on the London Rush on Bloomberg.com and, of course, on the terminal.
By the way, I mean, if we break through this trend line here, it's going to be, you're going to see a very, very large reaction from buyers in risk on markets. Just because, I mean, probably looking at it coming back down towards that 105 area. So
It's 8:30 a.m. in London. Good morning. I'm Stephen Carroll.
And I'm Caroline Hepker. Welcome to Bloomberg Daybreak Europe.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the how the dollar kind of reacts here.
The CAC 40 in Paris is 0.2% higher. The DAX in Frankfurt
Could very much plummet, push towards this area.
price story play out in the equity markets today. So Brent crude 5.3% higher after the move by OPEC Plus to cut supplies. Energy shares benefiting from that. They're the top performing sector in the stock 600, up by 3.6%.
Okay, let's go to our top stories. A reminder then, OPEC Plus has announced a surprise production cut of 1.1 million barrels per day starting next month. That will then rise to 1.6 million barrels in July when Russia joins the supply reduction. ANZ's senior commodity strategist Daniel Hines says the cartel is trying to get ahead of the curve.
This measure does send a pretty strong signal to the market that they're going to support prices, support the market in the shorter term. Amidst this
In short term.
view that that market is certainly getting tighter.
That's ANZ's Daniel Hines speaking. Now, Saudi Arabia led the oil cartel's move by pledging 500,000 barrels per day of reductions in supply. The White House has said the OPEC Plus decision was ill-advised.
UBS will reportedly cut 20 to 30% of its staff after completing its takeover of Credit Suisse. The Swiss newspaper says the move could now affect 11,000 workers in Switzerland and another 25,000 more worldwide. In a separate development, Swiss prosecutors say they've opened an investigation into the deal. They want to identify possible crimes leading up to the Credit Suisse collapse.
Donald Trump plans to plead not guilty when he faces criminal charges in New York. He will be the first US president to face such accusations when he appears in court tomorrow over hush money payments made to Stormy Daniels. Trump's defense lawyer, Joe Tacopina, told CNN the case is political persecution.
He's gearing up for a battle. This is something that obviously we believe is a political persecution, and I think people on both sides of the aisle believe that. It's a complete abuse of power. He's a tough guy, George, as you know, and he's someone who's going to be ready for this fight. We're ready for this fight, and I look forward to moving this thing along as quickly as possible to exonerate him. We're way too early to start deciding what motions we're going to file or not file, and we do need to see the indictment and get to work. I mean, look, Tuesday's just the beginning.
That's Donald Trump's defense lawyer, Joe Tacopina. City authorities in New York are planning to close key streets as a security measure ahead of the hearing.
Oh, yeah.
Britain news, Tesla's deliveries hit a record and fell short of Elon Musk's goal of 50% annual growth. The electric car company delivered
It's a pretty nice reaction from buyers there, so let's see how well we can make that push.
Automaker slashed prices earlier this year to appeal to consumers affected by rising interest rates and faster inflation. The company produced just over 440,000 vehicles this year, which also exceeded analyst estimates.
Those are a few of our top stories this morning. Did you see the travel chaos over the weekend in the UK? If you were trying to get away for the Easter break, great difficulties getting a ferry to the continent from Dover. And of course, today you've got the Passport Office. Passport Office workers on strike now for 5 weeks. So getting hold of your passport's going to be pretty tricky too.
As we were talking earlier about our MLAD Pulse survey on travel as well, apparently the month of March is the month you're supposed to finalise your summer holiday plans, which leaving me feeling slightly panicked, frankly. So there's plenty of concerning news if you're planning on travelling in the next couple of months here from the UK. Coming up next on Daybreak Europe, we'll get back to our markets conversation. We'll be joined by Kieran Ganesh, who is head of investment communication at UBS Global Wealth Management. Stay with us for that. This is Bloomberg.
Okay, yeah, so London Open 5 minutes ago, or the opening bell. Let's see what we can get in terms of volume. Can we get any movements? Okay.
Visit savebythescan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. Savebythescan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
When news breaks across the globe, Bloomberg Radio is there. From Asia, Xi Jinping says China wants to play a constructive role in finding peace for Ukraine, to Europe.
The Bank of England has pushed ahead with another hike.
And anywhere in the world, news happens.
We're going to go live to Taipei.
Frank Curtis has more from Hong Kong.
In Davos, Switzerland, our David Weston.
Bloomberg's Tommaso Ebhart has more from Milan. Bloomberg's Simon Demikan reports from Istanbul.
Bloomberg Radio, on the ground, everywhere.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like...
Nice reaction from buyers. Very, very nice. If we can make a push straight past this previous area here, things are going to be looking quite nice to continue back up.
Adopt US Kids and the Ad Council.
This is Caroline Hyde.
And I'm Ed Ludlow. Join us for Bloomberg Technology, a daily podcast focusing exclusively on technology, innovation, and the future of business.
We bring you the latest headlines from tech's top companies and conversations with the industry's biggest decision makers.
We even have to show our own productivity gains.
Privacy is a hugely important issue.
It's extraordinary what technology can achieve.
The Bloomberg Technology Podcast, every weekday.
Subscribe today on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or at Bloomberg.com.
Is your firm growing as fast as it should? Commonwealth Financial Network can help you accelerate your growth by tapping into intellectual capital, targeted marketing.
Okay, right. Yeah, we're gonna leave it there. Things are loading up. So yeah, we'll come back for the New York opening session. We'll come a little bit earlier today, so about 12 o'clock, 12:30. Yeah, we'll load up, let the markets kind of pick up on a little bit of volume over the course of today. We do get a little bit of data coming out, so we'll let that kind of hopefully pick up some momentum. And then, yeah, we can look for some trading opportunities on that next trading session and go from there. But yeah, so just for those that are here, the next important data point is that European manufacturing PMI. I mean, you do also get German and French. Those are also important just because those are the two biggest economies in Europe. But essentially, yeah, that European and manufacturing PMI is the big one. You do also get an OPEC meeting in that time. Again, I mean, the decision's been made. It's be nice to see kind of the reasoning behind it, but again, you can kind of already guess the reasoning. And then the big one is that ISM, US ISM at 3 o'clock. So next session is going to be a relatively big session. So we'll be there for you. But yeah, guys, thank you very much. Always a pleasure. Those that followed us, those that liked the stream, thank you very much appreciated. And we'll update you on the next live trading session, 12 o'clock, 12:30 UK time. Okay, thank you. Cheers.